This is Ian Lermont from SHCTV. Today I'm very lucky to be joined here in Newcastle for the first time by Lee Rogers. Lee, how are you doing today?
Brilliant, nice to meet you, mate.
Definitely. So obviously, we're here. You got a big fight on the Josh Kelly Murtazaliev world title undercard. Sort of talk to me about this opportunity. How did it all sort of come about for yourself?
Well, I have a great manager in Lee, and he pulls the strings for us, gets us on good shows, and I have an amazing fan base, so that helps as well.
So you've just weighed in, just went face to face with your opponent. How much do you sort of know about him, or not too much?
Well, one thing I do know is that he beats the bad prospects, and the good prospects beat him. So it's a bit of an acid test. I think in his last 6 fights, he's knocked out 3 live prospects. So he's no slouch. He's a good test for anyone really. Never mind just his 7th fight. So, but that's what I want, and I want these tests. I have hard spars week in, week out with high level fighters, and I want to be able to push myself in the ring as well and keep climbing the ladder.
How important do you think that is, especially quite early on in your career, to be fighting live fighters? I spoke to Brad Casey and Leo Tang yesterday. They're both in tough fights as well. How important do you think that is for your development as a pro? Being in tough fights early on.
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit older than them. I think I'm just turned 22. They're 19 if I'm not correct, if I'm correct. But it's what you've got to do. You've got to keep stepping up every time, because if you just keep going through where you're just smashing out these journeymen, but you're not going to learn nothing. You've got to be able to keep stepping up the ladder and keep climbing them. And the real tests come when you're fighting for belts, or when you're fighting someone who's incredible opponent. You're ready. You're more than ready, which is why I think sparring's key as well. You've got to have good sparring partners week in, week out, because they not only they bring you to be the best here. So you've got to fight these good opponents, because without them, you're not going to be able to learn.
Definitely. One thing I sort of wanted to touch on is training. I believe this is your 7th fight. You've been very active as a pro since turning over.
Yeah.
How important do you think that has been for your development so far?
Well, activity's key, really. I've had this is my 7th fight in. I think I had my debut on 27th of July 2024. So yeah, probably a fight every 3 months or something. Pretty active. Got more. Yeah. I want more fights. I want fights all the time. I live in the gym. I live and breathe boxing. So I just want to keep fighting, because if you're a boxer and you don't want to fight, then you're in the wrong business, aren't you?
If you get the win on Saturday night, where would you sort of want to go from there? Would you maybe be looking at some sort of title towards the end of the year? Where would you sort of like to go from there if you get the win on Saturday night?
We'll focus on Saturday night, and then I'll give you a sneak announcement after that.
Main event on Saturday night, Josh Kelly background Murtazaliev. They just weighed in and faced off. Brilliant fight, bringing big nights back up here to the northeast. IBF world title as well. How do you sort of see that one going? Do you think Josh can get the job done?
It's a very, very, very hard fight. As Eddie Hearn said, it would probably be one of the biggest wins for a British fighter on UK soil. He's a monster. That Murtazaliev, to put it that's the only way you can put him. Really, he's a monster. And you saw how he sparked Tim Tszyu, who's a real good guy. But I think I can see it going both ways. I think I can see Murtazaliev walking in tight, trying to walk him down, and Kelly, with him having such fast reflexes, catching him and chinning him. And I can also see a world where that walking down is constant, and it maybe wears Kelly down late. I can see it happening both ways, but I think it'd be on whoever's more disciplined on the night, like discipline in the ring, and remains focused, because in professional boxing, one mistake can end the full fight. So whoever remains disciplined and executes the game plan better, will be the victorious.
For fans sort of tuning into that fight, obviously you're featuring on the undercard. What can fans expect from you on Saturday night?
A bit of everything. Defence. I like to go forward. I like to knock a hit. I've picked up a lot of stuff from a lot of different gyms going across to America, and I'm all ears when I'm over there. And I just try to pick up so many different things off a lot of brilliant coaches, and I've got 2 brilliant coaches myself in Matty Jones and Henry Mann. They're both amazing coaches, and they both get the best out of me. So expect the best version of Lee Rogers, and you will be entertained.
Definitely. Last one from me, Lee. Have you got anything you want to promote just whilst we're here? You know, sponsors, anybody watching maybe? Yeah, close yours.
I want to say thank you to everyone, Team Potter Rocket. Sold over 350 tickets for this fight. Without them, as I said at the start of the interview, I wouldn't be able to get on cards at this. Because when you're not signed with these big promoters, you've got to sell tickets. So without them, I wouldn't be able to be on it. But as I said, my coaches, my manager, my nutritionist Jacko, my strength and conditioning coach Nathan, all play a massive part in how I live my life every day in, day out. They all help us, and without them it wouldn't be possible. And I've got great sponsors backing us, like Terry Nelson, Tom, Kev Burns, Mickey Anderson. I've got so many. That's one there. I've got 5 or 6 sponsors. Sorry if I've missed any of them out. But there's so many, and without them, professional boxing's a hard old game, and without them it wouldn't be possible.
Definitely, Lee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
I really
mate.
appreciate it.